Nat Sherman is the leading American luxury brand in premium cigars. From the classic range of the Metropolitan and Host selections to the transformative Timeless collection, their elegant Sterling and limited edition offerings, or the bold and commemorative 1930 blend Andy Polka, everyone has the opportunity to enjoy a Nat Sherman experience. Family owned and operated since 1930, Nat Sherman's tradition of innovation and commitment to excellence reminds us why America's Nat Sherman brand is known as tobacconist to the world.
Love to Hate, the podcast that asks the question, what do you love to hate?
You are a smelly pirate hooker. And I hate your ass face!
Do you love it?
No!
Do you hate it?
Oh, yes! Yes! You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! I chart in your general direction!
No more foreplay.
Hey kids, it's Monday, so you know what? It's time for another edition of Love to Hate. I'm Philip Fullman.
And I am Brandon Luna.
You hungry?
I am.
You want to go get some lunch later?
Taco Bell, man.
What? Taco Bell.
Wait, you don't like Taco Bell?
You're Mexican. How can you eat Taco Bell?
I'm sort of Mexican.
Taco Bell is what you eat when you have change in the center console of your car and you have enough change to get you a couple of gallons of gas and you need just a little bit extra to get food so you don't starve.
Yeah.
That's Taco Bell.
That's what I have. A couple extra. I get a taco.
Sir, I know where you work. They pay you better than that.
No, I'm not a fan of Taco Bell.
No,
in fact, I'm not really a fan of chain restaurants, to be honest with you.
Not at all?
Not really. I mean, there's very few that I frequent.
Now, there's fast food, then what do they call it? Fast casual or something like that, which would be your Chili's, Applebee's, Fridays, sort of thing. You don't like any of them?
Okay, here's the deal. I travel a lot for my job. And if you want a consistent meal, then you go to the chain restaurants because you know you're going to get something that's going to be on par with pretty much wherever you go. But I always find that those meals are always underwhelming. I mean, there's never anything. I can't think of a chain restaurant that has food that I'm like, I have to go there and have that again. It's always just
What about
sustenance.
McDonald's does the McRib?
No, not a McRib guy. No. Sorry, Fred Ruby. Yeah. He's a big McRib guy. Yeah. He's the owner-operator of Nomad Cigars, and if you ever want to send him anything.
Send him a McRib?
Yeah, send him McRibs, yeah.
Ew.
Well,
there's no food in it. There's no food in their food
They'd
anyway.
probably be good for 2 months.
I like their fries, but no, you're right. It's not something you would eat if it's like, I want to have a nice meal.
Right.
It's just, I'm hungry, so I need something, and this has a lot of sugar and salt in it, so that'll work.
Right.
And it sounds good at the time. But again, not a meal it's not dining, if you will. What about fast casual? Chili's?
It's kind of in the same boat. I mean, there may be a couple, like I'll take macaroni grill on occasion, but maybe a salt grass if I want a okay-ish steak. But for the most part, I'd rather go to a local joint that's family-owned and operated, something that's been recommended by the Dallas Observer or one of those magazines or people that I know, word of mouth, because I know I'm going to get a better meal, made with care and love, and they've taken the time to develop their restaurant into something that's successful, or maybe even something that's not successful. I'll try a new place, for that matter, over going to a Maggiano's or a Salt Lick or whatever the hell.
If you can get a local steak restaurant or a local Italian restaurant, I'm definitely all for it.
Yeah, and I'm all for the local Mexican places too, because on the border is garbage.
It is. That's not even Mexican
Taco
food.
Bell, Taco Cabana, all those places, Taco Bueno, they're all pretty much garbage food, I think.
No, I would agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. You and I, of course, we like the local place here, Mariana's, which is small, very, very local. Mm-hmm. But they make great Mexican food.
Yeah. Now, there is a catalyst there. I'm okay with local chains on occasion.
Sure.
So if it's a restaurant that happens to be good enough that they have 2 locations now.
Like Babes. What about Babes?
Yeah,
here?
Babes is fine. Yeah. They got good chicken. But for the most part, those tend to get watered down as they progress as well. So
I think, and again, but I don't have a palate.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably more okay with chain, not necessarily fast food. I'm really trying to get away from that because it is garbage. I mean, you're not really getting any food with your food. But kind of like the fast casual, I don't really mind. I kind of like Chili's.
Yeah.
I don't like now that they're getting all uppity and trying to make it all fancy. It's like, look, it's Chili's. I want the buffalo chicken sandwich.
Right.
You know,
you don't want your baby back ribs.
Now they're pork, so no.
Yeah. Oh,
but
that's right.
yeah. I need to find some good beef ribs. But yeah, I'm with you on that. For the most part, it's generic. But I think part of what you said, I kind of like the idea of knowing what I get. I'm not always in the mood to experiment. It's like I don't want to be disappointed. Yeah. I want to know what I'm getting. So if I go into a Chili's, I'm pretty much going to get the same thing, and I'm okay with it. I've gotten away from Applebee's because that food just got to the point where you're even looking at it, and it's like, this isn't even real.
Yeah.
This is just, it's plastic, freeze-dried. Astronauts get better than this.
Yeah.
So I've kind of tried to get away from that.
Yeah.
But, the lure of fast food still gets me, even though I don't want it to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I don't ever eat it. I do on occasion. If that's, I'm driving between here and Kansas, and that's all there is, I'll stop somewhere and grab something. But for the most part, I would rather go someplace local. Now, sometimes it's a time thing, too. It's like I can drive through, grab something, eat it on the go, and be okay. I'm not hungry anymore.
Right.
But, I try to make the time to find a place to sit down, have a meal, and enjoy myself.
We take a much different approach to dining in America than they do in Europe.
Okay.
And that was one thing I noticed, because there, it's not, hey, I've got 30 minutes, got to eat my lunch, got to get back to work, I got to get this email, I got these reports. It's like, whoa. We're having lunch. And you're going to sit, and you're going to take your time, and they're not rushing you like, hey, we're trying to turn tables here, buddy. Hey, I'm working for tips. It's not that. You take as much time as you want. You sit, you have conversation, and you take your time eating. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, you sit for a little bit, and you digest it, and then you leave. And it's the same with dinner. But it's not these, got to grab and go, got to eat at my desk, I'll eat a granola bar.
Right.
It's not that at all. They view it as, whoa, this is time to take a moment out from our day and replenish.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. We find it something that we work in between conference calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in that way, I think they've got some over us. And if you look, they don't have the rates of obesity that we do.
True.
Now, part of that's because of the walking, but I think also portion sizes and the fact that because they're sitting longer, they're actually chewing their food.
Yeah.
Because when you wolf it down, you don't fill up as fast.
Exactly.
The slower you eat, then you realize, wow, I'm full.
Yeah. And I tend to find that that's true when I'm traveling. If I go to a restaurant, local or otherwise, I tend to have food to take with me, versus if I was to get fast food, I'm going to plow through that and, it's gone. So there's no thought in that. It's more of a sustenance thing. It's just, I've got to shove this in my face as fast as I can so I'm not a hazard when I'm driving. And, I'm on to the next
Don't want the
place.
blood sugar levels to dip too much.
Exactly, yeah. So what I've done now is I actually will take food with me in a small cooler that I know is better food for me.
Right.
And I'll eat that instead.
I've honestly found myself, and I need to do it more, I found that an apple can fill me up. Yeah. If I just take the time and just eat it as a snack, don't rush through it, it's like, actually now I don't want anything else.
It's nature's toothbrush, too.
Is it?
It cleans your teeth, yeah.
I never, and I've never thought of it as like, wow, that's a meal. But it's like, if you just have it, it's like I don't need anything else.
Sometimes it's nature's floss, too, because it gets stuck in there with the
Oh,
skin.
yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. I always slice mine. I like mine sliced with a little salt.
Oh, nice.
Very persnickety.
Yeah, that's a good word. I like that word, persnickety.
Thank you. Yeah, and I say this as somebody who does eat quite a bit of fast food or fast casual, but I find that I'm rare in that. Uh-oh. I was worried it was going to fall on your head. We're in the back office. We got tons of boxes back here.
You find that you don't. What were you saying?
No, I just find that I fall into that category of somebody who I don't take the time because I'm guilty of. Well, I just need something.
Yeah.
So I don't make good choices because it's close.
Right.
And I'll even try to talk myself out of. It's like, well, I really am in the mood. I'd really rather go to. I'll even do it with shitty fast food. Like, man, KFC would be, that sounds good. It's cold out, chicken, potatoes. That sounds good, but I'd have to get in the car. I could walk to McDonald's. So I'm even that lazy where it's like I don't even want to drive to go get shitty fast food, so I'll walk to the shitty fast food.
Or you get delivery. That's the other thing,
Here's the problem with Texas. Well, at least the area we're in. You can get Chinese and Italian delivered.
Yeah.
That's it.
Correct.
Nobody else delivered. Now there's all these grub and go and all of that. But if you look at it, it's from these large restaurants where you're going to, it's not just, hey, $30 I fed the family. It's like, hey, each entree is $30. Plus there's a $20 delivery charge because we're going to this fancy restaurant. It takes 2 hours to get there. Like, I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
So Chinese or Italian.
Yeah.
Which is very limiting. Fortunately, I like Chinese food. Place by my house, not so great.
Yeah.
It's okay, but they deliver. So when you don't want to leave the house,
you find the one thing that you like on the menu and just stick with that. Yeah.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
Or you find yourself eating a lot of Italian food.
What's annoyed me about the whole fast food and fast casual movement too is that the price structure has gotten very, very close. Fast food used to be inexpensive. There was always the $1 menu and but now it's the $1.25 menu. Now it's the $2.19 menu. Now you can go. Like, I can go to Chick-fil-A, for example, and get a meal for everybody in the family. And you would think that would be $5, $10, $15, $20, something like that. Ends up being about $40 for four people to eat at Chick-fil-A. We could have gotten in the car, gone to a good restaurant, sat down, someplace local, and had a better meal, better prepared, tastes better, for probably about the same price. If not, maybe $5 to $10 more.
Right.
Why would you submit yourself to low-grade food that's going to make you fat, and just because it's convenient, rather than having the time to sit with your family and enjoy a meal?
Because we're all about convenience.
Yeah.
Because if you go to that restaurant, then you can't sit at home on your couches and watch TV with the family and eat out of a bag.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
And that it is now, it's funny because we talk about fast food like it's food.
Right.
But when I was growing up, if you got an A on your report card, you got to go to McDonald's. And, you got a shake. Or we're going to Dairy Queen and you get a milkshake or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you get a prize or it's your birthday. It wasn't, hey, you eat every meal here.
Right.
Now that's exactly what it is. It's like, we'll go grab some McDonald's for dinner. Or, I'll hit McDonald's for breakfast. Like, when did all these restaurants start becoming just like this is where people seek out food and meals? That's not. I don't think that's ever what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
but
you got to go back
to be fair, back in the day, it probably used to have food in it.
Yeah. Well, back in the 70s, too, you look at how we grew up. It was like you said, you mostly ate at home. You had prep. You had your mom or your dad would make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you. Occasionally you went out. If you went out, it was either something really nice because it was a special occasion, or it was fast food, and that was the occasional treat. It wasn't every day. It wasn't 5 times a week. It was once a month, twice a month. That was it. And I think we've gotten away from that as a society. There's no more home ec classes, not required. No one's required to learn how to make anything. They call it
skills for living now.
Yeah, and it's optional. Those should be mandatory. Kids coming out of high school should know how to make eggs, should know how to make, a lunch meal, sandwich or something. They should know how to cook for themselves so that when they go to college, they can avoid that freshman 15, or is it 50 now? I don't even know. They might have upgraded to freshman 50. Have. But, it's something that's lacking in our society. We're so dependent on everything outside of our domain that we're not the same humanity that we were 20 years ago.
But when did we get so busy? That's the other thing I look at is it's like, well, we're doing this because we got to get the kids here. And it's like, why have you scheduled your child so much? And that's probably a different podcast.
Yeah.
But just kids are in so many things. It's like, well, wait a minute. Nobody has time to sit down and eat at the table because the kid doesn't come home till 8 o'clock because they had practice. Then they had another practice for the other team they're on, or they had a game.
Or they had a social club they had to go to or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait, should the whole family wait till 8 o'clock to sit down? And you don't want to eat. I don't want to eat that late. I'd rather eat my dinner early.
Right.
So that becomes another thing is, we're so on the move, not just as adults, but even after 5 o'clock when we were supposed to be off work, it's like, hey man, stuff's going on. Mm-hmm. Got to get stuff done. Feed the kids. Grab a burger. Like, why?
Yeah.
And again, I blame the fax machine.
The fax machine. What?
The fax machine led to the decline of civilization and the iPhone and short attention spans.
Really?
Yes. What happened? Think about it. You're a business guy. We're going to call you a business guy. You have a company or something like that. You're important. Not that you're not, but you know what I'm saying. So you need a document signed. You're trying to do business. And it's got to be signed, got to have an original signature, whatever. So what do? FedEx or Flying Tiger. Remember them? There you go. Even UPS, Postal Service. You do next day air, something like that. Second day air. Just you've got to get it there. So these documents are sent. So the next day it can get signed. So this business deal will be done in 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Because it takes time to send these documents. Then you get the documents, you sign them, your lawyer looks at them, you put them in the envelope, you mail them back. You have a conference call. It's like all this is done. It took about 3-4 days, whatever. Now you do it with the fax machine. It's like, I'll fax it to you. Fax it back. Fax it. Like, wow, man, that only took 10 minutes. Now we've done this in 10 minutes. Oh, that's fantastic. We just got this deal done a lot faster. Now we don't have to wait at all.
Right.
It's immediate. Hey, I need a picture. I need that contract. I don't have to mail it. I'll fax him a copy of the contract and they can proofread it. This is amazing. Then all of a sudden you start getting the email. Email it to me.
Right.
Then all of a sudden it's instant. Like, ooh, look, I can do an electronic signature. Business done.
Right.
So now all of a sudden the piece of business, instant, everything, right away.
Yeah.
And then you got to have instant conversation. You can't wait on somebody's phone call. You can't leave them a voice message. I'll text them.
Yeah.
Or they have the pager, so you can always get a hold of them. And again, unless you're the president of the United States or a doctor, really nobody's that important.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't get a hold of one of you or one of the other reps right away, it's not the end of the world. Maybe it delays something a day, but it's not going to push everything back to where it's like, well, commerce has come to a standstill.
Yeah.
It just pushes it out a few days. But that fax machine, man, we got used to that instant. Now it can be taken care of quickly. So now business moves. Boom. Always got to be doing something. Always. It's fast. It's immediate.
True.
And before that, we had time. It's like, hey, contract will be here in a couple of days. Relax.
Yeah.
Go do something else. But now we're used to everything on the spot.
Oh, yeah. And that's every aspect of our life. You look at what the smartphone has done for us.
Absolutely.
This happened, true story, in a cigar shop. A bunch of guys are having a conversation, and it's rare that they're all having the same conversation. There's at least 5-6 people in a room having a conversation, talking about stuff, movie quotes, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Hey, did you see that thing? Yeah, let's look it up. Everybody's on their iPhones trying to look something up. The Wi-Fi's out. Everybody's bitching about it. And no one has the answer because no one remembers anything anymore. Nothing's up here in your brain. It's all on the phone now.
We lease information or we rent information. We know where to find it, but we don't actually know anything. We're not actually smarter because we don't actually possess knowledge. We just know where to find it.
Yep.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but it does take away from the learning. And from somebody who is truly knowledgeable. And I know people like that who it's like, you know what? They're good at tests. They're good at remembering information, but they can't actually apply the information. And so you get people like that now, and it's like, you're not that smart. You just looked it up.
Right.
But if you're able to recall it from the top of your head, it's like, this is a person who possesses knowledge as opposed to looks up information.
Yeah.
But that said, as somebody who works in a cigar shop, it is great that we are able to access that because you can always call bullshit on the guy you know is lying.
Right. Yeah.
And be like, well, right here, it looks like you didn't hit any home runs that season, slugger. As a matter of fact, you don't even show up on the internet.
Right.
Is that even your real name? Just because there is so much bullshit in cigar shops.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's just a way for us to, and I think we talked about this on maybe our year-end podcast, was millennials do not want possessions.
Yeah.
They want, the MP3, they want the digital movie, they want it all on their iPad. Well, now it's like they don't even possess knowledge.
Yeah.
But they know where to find it. So again, once everything goes tits up, and you know it will, and the internet will go out, nobody's going to know anything.
Yeah. Think about how much will not work when and if that does happen. Let's see. So your phone won't work, so you won't have information, you won't have TV.
And if
TVs
you don't have a
won't work.
landline?
Satellites go out. That's gone. No television. Maybe over air. You're going to lose Netflix. You're going to lose, all that stuff. Hulu, everything. Movie theaters no longer show movies on film. Everything's digital. Can't go to the movies and watch a movie anymore. So no television, no information, nothing. You'd have to go to a library to read a book. or you'd have to know something in your brain.
Right.
Can't look up that recipe because you never put it in your memory because it's always there on the internet. There's so many things that we're going to lose if we lose access to that cloud, to that internet.
Think about. I really hesitate to say this, but I saw this on an episode of 24.
Okay.
But think about if somebody wanted to release an EMP.
Yeah.
Was it electronic something
electromagnetic pulse, yeah.
Which is basically what we used to do in radio. Is if you had a card, which looks like an 8-track, kids, and we'd put commercials on them, and you take a giant magnet, you scrub it, and you erased it, and then you could record over it because it rearranges the magnets on the tape, and that's what an EMP does. But it wipes out all your electronics. You know, you worry about nuclear bombs being dropped and all of this. You know, you release an EMP on this country, everybody's screwed.
Right.
First of all, the millennials will just be crying. But, I mean, people who actually, need access to their bank accounts and things like that, it's going to be a problem.
Yep. It will. Big, big problem.
So, I mean, it does put you in a vulnerable position. And I remember when I one of my last corporate jobs, I kept everything on hard copy. I had to I would do it duplicate because I'd have to go add my notes to the sales database, but I kept my own file on everybody. So when we had internet problems, I was the only guy still working.
Right.
Because oh, look, no, I got my note right here in the file. I need to call this guy back today. I'll do that because it's on my calendar. But the internet said, yeah, but I have a hard copy.
Yeah.
And, so I'm able to stay productive. Now, it did bite me in the ass because everybody else went to lunch and I had to work. But other than that, there's something lost there.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you like looking at the Declaration of Independence? It's like, oh, no, look, we've got it saved here on our flash drive at the Smithsonian or wherever
right.
they keep the copy of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
But
this has become love to hate the internet. We've gotten away from the.
It kind of has.
Yeah.
We have gotten away from chain restaurant, but it's all connected.
It is. Yeah.
Because you will sit in a chain restaurant on your phone.
Exactly.
Because again, not the dining experience. And did you ever watch Mad Men?
Yeah.
When they were trying to talk about Burger Chef,
right?
And the whole pitch was, this is where your family comes together. And it's like, yeah, boy, it doesn't really work that way now.
Right.
Where it's like, look, we're all sitting here having a family meal. No. Yeah. You're all sitting there scarfing it, and the kids throwing fries on the floor, and all of that. Again, it's all a symptom of the fact that we need it immediately because for some reason none of us have any time.
Right. Yeah.
Which I really just don't get.
I don't get it.
So
either.
we go and we settle. We settle for mediocre food. But like I said, I'm probably a fan of it just because I like consistency.
Yeah. I'm okay with it on occasion. But for the most part, like I said, I'd rather, and going into cigar shops is a great way. You go into a cigar shop and say, hey, what's a good local place to go eat?
Right.
And you usually get 5 or 6 recommendations, and one of them is going to work for you. And then I tend to get on the internet and look up reviews on Yelp and see what other people are saying. And then, you find that one that's like, okay, this is very interesting. I'll go check it out. So
there was a place in Philadelphia a friend was telling me about called Hopsing's Laundry.
Okay.
And you could only find it on Yelp. And apparently when you walk by, there was no sign.
Oh, wow.
You had to know the address from Yelp. And you ring a bell. There's a gate. And you have to ring that. Guy comes out, little Chinese guy. And it's like, what do you want? Like, is this Hopsing's Laundry? He's like, yes. And he's very distant. And he lets you know the rules. Cash only, no credit cards. Once you come in, no phones. If you're on your phone at all, you leave. You can step out into the foyer and take a call, but no pictures, no nothing. Those are the rules. You come in, you're there to talk to people, and that's it. Cash only, no credit cards, no computer, nothing.
Sounds like a speakeasy. What was this?
It kind of was. And
was it actually a laundry, or what was it?
No, well, where he got the name, think of it, Hopsing from Bonanza.
Yeah.
And every time he thought of leaving, he's like, I'm going to go start a laundry.
Yeah.
So he called it Hopsing's Laundry.
Huh.
And it was all like their well drinks, like their well liquor or their call liquor, Jack Daniels.
Oh, wow.
So it only went up from there.
Wow.
But cool. It was, again, this kind of little speakeasy. You had to know it, and it had great reviews. But it was like, look, we're not We're not messing around. You either want to be here or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's kind of cool.
And you have to
have that in a
be
local...
there. You have to be in the moment.
Yes.
Which is great, yeah.
Yes.
I would love to see more places like that. I
It
would love
would
to
be
see
fantastic.
a cigar shop that's like, we don't have TVs. I mean, there's one that's like that. We had Cigar Art. But, no cell phones. No, that'd be great. Experience
and the problem you
cigars
run into in so many shops, well, I want to watch the game. Guys go in to watch the game to make it social. And I like the idea of, we don't have to, or you don't have so many. Ideally, I think you have a big enough shop where it's like you have a part that does have a TV to watch the game.
Right.
And then you have a section that doesn't if guys just want to talk.
Yeah.
Because I love Cigar Art. Because of that. When I go with my friends, we sit, we talk.
Yeah.
No distraction from the game. You got music going on. You're present, which I absolutely love.
I do too, yeah.
And again, fast casual. Chili's has TVs everywhere. Mm-hmm. Most of these places have a TV somewhere, either to distract the kids or to keep everybody entertained.
And now they've got that stupid thing on the table. That annoys the crap out of me.
I hate that thing.
You don't even really have to talk to your server anymore. You
Right.
order everything from that. They come make sure everything's fine. The kids can play games on there, and then you check out and you're out. It's like there's no human interaction anymore.
So the kids now, you have them entertained so they don't have to learn how to behave in a restaurant. Exactly. They don't have to talk. Yeah. They don't have to do anything. And I remember, again, when my parents took me to restaurants, it was not just the McDonald's as a treat, but it was like, hey, you're well-behaved enough. You get to go to the nice restaurant with us.
Right.
And if you don't behave well, you won't come back. Mm-hmm. So it was like this big thing, like, oh, wow, I'm in the grown-up restaurant. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting, with the grown-ups at the table, and I've got a linen napkin. It was like I'm kind of an adult.
Right. That's a big deal.
And it meant something, and you sat and you listened. And if you were talked to, you talked, but it wasn't just all about you staying entertained and throwing the colors and getting pissed off because you didn't want to be there. It was like, no, you're going to behave.
Right.
But again, those days done.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've designed everything for even, arrested development. Because we sit there and it's like, I got to be on my phone. I'm going to get bored.
Right.
I just read the menu. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
My God, I may have a thought and have to dwell on it.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
I don't know, man.
All that said, what do you want to do for lunch?
We can go to a chain restaurant. Is that a chain? It's not a chain. The way I'm thinking.
I think it is. China's super buffet thing.
Is it a chain? I hope it's not
I
a
don't
chain.
know.
It's a buffet. I like buffets.
They have authentic Chinese Jell-O.
They do. Chinese Jell-O.
I don't know. It's like on the buffet.
Made with kitten fat.
Yeah, exactly. Fake chicken.
Yeah.
I've been to. I went to it was a Chinese buffet I went to in Kansas City. Went there a lot, and on Saturdays it said authentic Chinese buffet, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I went and I looked at the buffet, and there was like duck claws and fish head. Like, yeah, I'm just going to order the American Chinese food off the menu. Can I get the General's chicken or the sweet and sour?
Right.
All right, so kids, that wraps up another half hour of Love to Hate. Hey, if they want to hear more, where can they find us?
iTunes, iHeartRadio. I know, right? I know, right? Bigger than iTunes, I think, maybe a little bit.
So start listening now, kids, regularly. So when we become very cool, you can snobbishly tell your friends you listened to us before we were cool.
Yep, you knew us when.
Exactly.
Back when, yeah.
Yeah, right
and
for
we're
the
also
autographs
on
now.
Spreaker and YouTube. So check us out, all those locations.
Thanks for listening, kids. We'll talk to you again.
Take care.